You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
Hello, race fans, and welcome to the Western States Racing League. We are live here for race number 16 of 20, this time at the Talladega Super Speedway. You're watching Sim Racing Media on YouTube. I'm Liam Irving, joined up in the booth, of course, by Chris Murphy. And Chris, Talladega is always going to be an incredible show, but we've got one of the bigger fields we see in here tonight, back up to that 22-23 car range. I think we're in for a great show. What about you?
I think it's going to be an exciting race tonight here at Talladega. Been looking forward to this all week. We've kind of gone through a couple weeks ago. We were at Martinsville a couple weeks ago with a lot of cautions. Last week we also saw quite a few caution flags fly. So hopefully we can get through here at Talladega, some long green flag runs. And we're looking at qualifying right now. And look who's up at the top. Oh, Butch Davis now takes the top spot. We were just talking earlier off camera. Butch Davis had not been out here very much this season. He hasn't seen him since about week 6. Good to see Butch back up at the top of the leader charts right now.
Butch Davis, a big name in the series. He's raced here for a long time. Excited to see what he can do here at Talladega. That's what they say. I mean, they say these tracks are kind of the equalizers, so maybe that lack of momentum, not having been here for the last couple of months, might go his way. Might not hurt him so much.
William Fletcher from Tenasket. I think we decided that was Tenasket, Washington, right? William Fletcher coming across the line there in that Davey Allison throwback, number 28 Howland sponsored truck. Gonna come across the line right now in 6th. We still got a few trucks out on the racetrack. John Kenyon. We do have a live shot with Kenyon. Let's see if he's got it turned on yet. Doesn't look like it. So John Kenyon here gonna try to get some laps in. Also Matt Sisler. if we get the good camera. There we go. In the 93, Auburn Hills, Michigan. Down at 13th right now. Let's see if he can improve his lap time. Got one more lap to go around right now.
Yeah, we'll see what he can get done, but we don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves without talking about a couple of significant events of last week. We saw Michael Milfeld Jr. get his first win on the season in a very dramatic race at Phoenix, which I believe saw 7 cautions and a little bit of, I don't know the exact words, we'll say tenacity between the 95 and 64. They got into it a couple of times. So a lot of contact, though.
Yeah, tenacity is a good word. I was going to say a little conflict, maybe. I don't know. Make some drama out of it. But yeah, it looks like maybe they've got their kind of worked out their ways. It was a little rough last week between those two. But Jensen still able to have a good enough finish to hold on to the point lead coming in tonight. Let's just bring those points up here real quick. We just mentioned that. So right now, Jacob Jensen out in front, 587-point lead. Or excuse me, a 20-point lead over Wayne Hutchison. Brian Barnes led the points early on in the season, but now find himself back in third. Bob Beltrami, Julian Ritchie, John Kenyon, Chad Stearns, Ryan Steele, Bentley Glazier, and David Weaver round out the top 10 in the points right now. And you guys, one driver I don't see here tonight, Liam, and that is Chad Stearns. I think he's only maybe missed 1 or 2 races this season, so kind of surprised I don't see him here tonight at Talladega.
Yeah, I would have to say the same. He's been in 13 out of 15 races so far this year. So he hasn't quite been at all of them, but definitely a missing name here tonight.
Come up here to the end of qualifying right now. We're taking a look here at the 04 of Dustin Burns, but it's Butch Davis on the pole, and it looks like that is how I don't see anybody on the racetrack right now. Burns here maybe get a lap in, but I don't think he has enough pace here to knock Butch off the pole. Daryl Scott looking really strong. Daryl was actually fastest in practice with some help with some drafts, but he's actually going to be up outside the front row there in the second spot. So here comes Burns, going to try to get a lap in here. Let's see if he can move himself at least up off the bottom. Coming down through the tri-oval now. Come across the stripe.
I'm not actually sure this lap might not count.
Nope. Did not get a lap in.
He didn't make it.
So we've actually got about 6 drivers there in the back. Didn't get a lap in. Scott Kukas, Charlie Widener, Miles Heath Smith, and Scott Kukas did not get laps in here. So we are about a minute and a half now away from our trucks firing up. Still getting gridded up right now on pit lane. That's not a good view. There's a better view.
There we go. Yeah, Daryl Scott in that 62. Fantastic qualifying run for him. The Vancouver Canucks on the side of that thing.
A couple sports themed. We got the Keith Smith back there in the Oregon Duck #1. And then we got who's in the Appalachian truck? I don't remember. I'll find it later, but
I think that's Charlie Widener.
is it? Oh, I think you're right.
I think so. The 95 of Charlie Widener is the Appalachian
he's not,
Mountaineers.
Yeah, he is not gridded up here. So we're still waiting for Butch Davis, Julian Ritchie, and Charlie Widener to get on the grid. Take a look here at our starting lineup. All right, so we're going to pull up our grid here real quick. So on the front row, it's Butch Davis. Outside of him, Daryl Scott. Starting third, Wayne Hutchison. And outside of him, and the number 8 is going to be Shane Jensen. Back in fifth, it's going to be Julian Ricci and Matt Sisler. In the fourth row, it's going to be the 28 of William Fletcher. Outside of him, the Batami Salami. And back there in ninth, Jacob Jensen. Starting in 10th, our SRM buddy, Alan Bergen. David Weaver there in 11th, John Kenyon in 12th. Earl Weaver is going to start there in the 13th spot, and it's Brian Barnes going to outside the 7th row. Back there in 15th, it's going to be Heath Smith and last week's winner, Michael Milford Jr. And there's that Appalachian Mountaineers number 95 of Charlie Widener. And back in the 10th row, it's going to be Scott Kukas and Dustin Burns. And that's going to round out our 20-car field here tonight, Liam.
Yeah, it looked like we had a couple of more, and potentially some regulars that didn't make it around this week. Butch Davis looking to make a statement here in his little comeback for this season. 75 laps. Got a fuel window of about 25 to 28, so if it stays green, expect these guys to try to push it to about 25 and make it a two-stop race. Green flag pit stops will definitely be a challenge for these drivers as they try to get from 185 to 190 miles an hour all the way down to 55 throughout the course of just a couple hundred yards. These guys have a tough task on order for them today. Not only what I just mentioned, but the highest banks in NASCAR. 33 degrees, 2 2/3 miles, and of course, the big one always looms. These guys bumper to bumper, closer together than most people are comfortable parking. One little mistake could spell disaster for anybody who has nothing to do with it. All of these things considered, we've got 20 truck drivers ready to rock and rumble for what they think, or, for what's just another week's business. The stakes are high. The pace truck is in there, Chris.
I'm off to the trial. Pace truck down in the pits. Butch Davis going to bring us to the line as Darrell Scott up on the outside. Wayne Hutchison and Shane Jensen with the change best starting position of the season in that 4 spot. Davis going to bring us to the start zone here. Going to come through the trial here at Talladega. Scott kind of lagged back there on the start a little bit, but I don't think that's really going to make that big of a difference here. As he's going to have some help with Shane Jensen at 8 coming up pretty quickly to give Scott there a push into turn number 1.
Yeah, of course, you don't want to risk beating the leader to the line on this initial start, so the best way to do that is to make sure you can see his nose at all times. Yeah, you might get a little bit of a jump put on you. It's going to keep you from getting that black flag. 5th place is much better than coming in for a pass through and being 20th. And here comes Scott back up on the outside. He's got a big push from Shane Jensen. Try to take the lead back. Who's going to lead lap number 1 here at Talladega?
We are 2 by 2 all the way coming off of turn number 4 down to the trial. And Scott's going to come across. Looks like he's going to lead lap number 1, but here comes Butch Davis back down on the bottom. Scott is going to be a leader as we come across his stripe.
Oh, maybe. Butch Davis got him at the line. That run
Shane Jensen
dissipated there when Shane Jensen moved up to the outside.
Yeah, Shane Jensen
might be falling back to try to get with the 64. Darrell Scott not going to lead this time around.
Called that one a little too soon. I like calling the TKO a little too fast in boxing, but here comes 93 of Matt Sisser with a good push there on Scott. Going to push him back out in front. Let's see if Scott stays up there on the outside with his partner, if he tries to drop down in front of Butch Davis, but not going to get the opportunity as Davis with a push right there behind Wayne Hutchison in the 17.
Sisler moving just a little bit to the inside, trying to keep some air to the nose of that 62. That's going to be something that we see all day. These trucks get hot when they push another truck. There's no air getting into the radiator. That oil just goes straight through the roof. That water's going to start steaming out the outside. Doesn't really happen on iRacing, but the effect is still the same. These guys could blow their engine if they get it too hot. Butch Davis now moving to the outside of Matt Sisler as Darrell Scott and Sisler were able to cut down in front of Butch Davis. Butch says, you know what, that top side worked. I want to try that too. Wayne Hutchison falling in line in 3rd on the inside, and he's got the 18 of Julian Ricci behind him.
Yeah, 20 cars started this race. 20 cars still in the lead draft right now. Dustin Burns back there in the back. Just a threat to lose the draft back there, kind of hanging around. But still out front.
He's doing that on purpose. He's running competitive lap times. He's actually quicker than the leaders that last time around. He's playing with this gap. He sees the pack in front of him. He says, I don't want to be in that big wreck that Liam talked about before we got green. Best way to do that is to have a distance from him and be able to just stop.
Back in front of the front, and Darrell Scott has worked his way out to the point. He's got Sis, so they've switched positions. Scott was running the top. He's down to the bottom, and here comes a big push from Beltrami behind Butch Davis. Is going to push Davis back to the point. the 14 and the 43, working the outside, working together. It's all about who you can work with here at Talladega. If you don't have a friend, you're not going to the front, and you're not going to stay up here.
I can promise you there's a lot of drivers out here today who have made friends well before they got out onto the racetrack. Some partnerships are going to have to be forged in the heat of battle, but there are definitely some guys that are looking for each other out on the racetrack because they know what they can do together.
That league's been around for a long, long time. Some of these guys ran a lot of races here on these super speedways and a lot of laps together. You can see that with Butch and Bob there on the outside. These guys have put together a lot of time, and Wayne, and you got John Kenyon right there behind them as well.
Dead even at the front, 2x2 for the top 10, top 12. Alan Bergen tried to go up top, and now he's going to fall back in line in the 11th position. Outside of the top 10, everybody single file. Richie slides up just a little bit in the tri-oval. Go ahead there.
I was going to say, Sisler doing a good job. Sisler and Scott look to be running really well together. I expect them to stay together all day long here. That 93 and the 62 down there on the bottom. Wayne Hutchison right there behind him, and Richie in the 18. Who got the one? Oh, Heath Smith got the one from him here tonight. So it keeps changing truck numbers on me back and forth.
They bounce around a little bit.
Still 2x2, still all 20 trucks on the track, on the racetrack, 6 laps into this. Everybody looking to keep their cool there, Liam. Nobody really trying to do anything too aggressive yet. Long, long way to go here, of course, but a lot of times you'll see some guys get a little impatient, and so far everybody keeping level heads.
You know, and I hate to bring up the question because we know what we see on Sundays in this style of racing, but could there be some guys potentially trying to save some gas here at the back of the pack, running 3/4 throttle? Just that way when they have to come in and make that green flag pit stop, they spend a little bit less time on pit lane and maybe could get an advantage that way.
Yeah, not a horrible idea. If you can save some fuel, I don't think you're going to save enough fuel to cut a stop out.
No, but you could maybe cut a second or two off of the pit stop.
For sure. Definitely. And that's the other thing, too, you got to think about here. We're 7 laps into this. We're still probably 20 laps or so from pit stops, at least 18. But these guys have also got to communicate. They've got to know when the other drivers are coming down. Like you said earlier, you're running 180 mile an hour, 185 mile an hour here, and you've got to get wood up to 55 on that pit lane. And if the guys behind you don't know you're coming in, we've seen that many, many times this season be the cause of some of these bigger accidents.
And like mentioned before, it's 190 miles an hour, roughly 185, all the way down to 55 to get to pit lane. These guys are really only using the brakes for that purpose.
And take a look here at Daryl Scott. You can see just coming off the corner there, down to the trial, up to 187 mile an hour. We'll see the highest speeds down the back straightaway. And he's getting, once again, Sisler and Scott working really well together, and also Butch Davis and Bob Beltrami as well. So, we see the old veteran back there on the number 4 lurking back there in about 8th right now with Brian Barnes. And don't count him out. You're going to see Brian up there to the front before it's over with.
We've also got John Kenyon, 3rd truck there on the outside, just behind this Beltrami salami machine. And I think you've got his in-car angle, don't you?
It actually did not come up.
Oh, no. Okay, we tried to get it.
We tried to get it, but technical error is not coming up.
John Kenyon's still doing a great job, even if we can't see his setup at the moment.
We'll give the in-car for him. That's the one thing with these trucks. Me and you were talking about this before the race tonight. And you watch right here as Kenyon tucks up underneath the back of Beltrami. He's kind of looking a bit to the bottom. But look how hard it is to make that corner, to see where that corner entry is. I know when I get out here and try to run these trucks drafting on a track like Talladega or Daytona, I miss my corner entry all the time because I just can't see around the truck in front of me.
Yeah, you've almost got to look for like context clues or get muscle memory involved. There it is. There's the spot. You see that spot on the pavement where it gets dark. That's how you know you're about to get into turn 3. I'm here to help you, Chris.
I I definitely need it. If you saw me, I haven't gone here and raced very much, but I definitely know the help I can get. But no doubt, you need to come spot for me sometime.
Butch Davis is a guy who's getting a lot of help right now, trying to take care of both lanes. John Kenyon pushing the 14 truck up on the outside. Not a lot of help behind him. Just that 4, Brian Barnes. Wayne Hutchison looked like he thought about moving up there, but the 4 was already taking that position. Here comes Beltrami up on the top.
Beltrami with John Kenyon right there behind him. Barnes is going to join into the party. Good push there from the 88. That's going to put Salami out, or Beltrami out to the front for just a moment. You know, Butch Davis was working with Bob there on the outside for a long, long time here in this race. But as soon as he was able to clear that 62 with Darrell Scott, he dropped right down to the bottom.
And I think that's going to end up being the move throughout a good portion of this race. Drivers are going to get that big run up on the outside. They're going to get clear of the bottom. Then they're going to jump down for that safety because it seems like that bottom lane is generally going to stay better connected than the outside.
Yeah, we've already had 3 trucks come into the pits. Heath Smith, Charlie Widener, and Michael Milfit came in and pitted back on lap 10. I'm not sure what that strategy was about, but they're out there on the track by themselves, and they're actually only about a quarter of a lap away from getting lapped here. So let's see if those 3 trucks can get. It looks like by their pit time, they may have only came in and taken fuel. We have a little different strategy from those 3 drivers in the back right now.
Are you thinking? How confident are you in those fuel numbers that we have? Because if these guys are coming in at lap 10, you know, maybe they're doing it in reverse like people do road courses. You know, you come in at lap 10 so you can make it to, you know, whatever, 35, and then you can make it to...
You know,
I don't know.
It might be.
I guess we'll just have to find out if these guys come into pit before lap 25.
Yeah, man, I may have been way overestimated. We may see him come in. It might only be 10 to 15 laps with a 45% fuel load. We'll have to see how this works out.
Maybe one of our...
Oh, look at Beltrami. Oh, just slid down there in front of that 93 of Matt Sisler. Was not much space there right there. And really trusting his spotter on that one.
Butch Davis is coming in. Yeah, these guys are incredibly limited in fuel. Big lockup at the back.
We've got Davis, Beltrami, Scott, Ricci, and Burns all down in the pits. And that is going to hand the lead over to Matt Sisler. So we'll see how this works out once we start cycling through these pit stops. So we're looking at 4, I guess, okay, so we were way overestimated, about double. So 14 to 15 laps here at the most for our pit window.
Did you put in the 80% fuel or the...
I might have.
The restricted fuel that we have here.
Yeah. Definitely overestimated it. I'm usually wrong on that math every weekend, so why not this weekend as well?
Yeah, it's only 45% fuel here.
So I think we're going to see the rest of this field come into the pits here as you see Sisler. Actually, yeah, they're going to see, here comes a whole... Oh,
around goes Alan Bergen.
Alan Bergen goes around off the nose of it. Looked like Todd Miles. Doesn't look like they made any contact.
I'm not sure if Todd's the one who hit him, but he definitely had to come to a complete stop to avoid hitting him.
And it looked like
Scott Kukas stays out.
And Kukas out there all by himself. We'll see how that was going to work out for him. You really need partners here. So we see
Widener, Milfelt, and Heath Smith, they're going to have a huge run on Butch Davis. Smith moving down to get with his teammate, Butch Davis.
Yeah, Smith dropped down behind the 43. He's going to give him a push. That's going to let Widener and Milfit, last week's winner, Michael Milfit, now out in front. Actually, Skuka's still the lead, and Sisler. The Sisler just now coming out of the pits. We'll watch this 95 and 155. I think they're gonna run down.
Oh Sisler. Yeah, they got a lot of momentum here.
They're gonna run him down in a hurry. Sisler and Jensen trying to get it back up onto the racetrack, get back up to pace. And they might just get enough pace going. They're going to blend in there, I think, pretty well.
Yeah, they're definitely going to lose the lead, but if they stay together on that bottom and they can cause a disruption, might be able to slot in a good spot here.
And Beltrami, Bob must have had some kind of an incident in the pits because he is now threatened to be a lap down. He had what was his pit time here? 52-second pit stop for Bob Beltrami.
You know, I think he might have been who I saw lock it up getting into the pits and unfortunately didn't get her woed down in time. Had to be held in the pits. He goes one lap down, but he is just behind the race leader. So he's going to see the next car get lapped. Going to have the perfect opportunity to overtake them and keep that free pass position.
So the 95 of Charlie White and Michael Milpit, that early pit stop really paid off for him. They're both up about 16 or 15. Actually, Widener up 16 spots. Milpit up 14. They're now running 1 and 2. And we are single filed out. Let's see how long. Oh, Smith. I was going to see who's the person going to be duck out there, and it's going to be Heath Smith. Milpit comes out the block. Going to take that outside line with him. So it's Milpit and Smith now. See if they can get around on the outside, get around Widener as they head down to turn number 1.
Yeah, and this top 11 has really split away from the rest of the field. Julian Ritchie tailing this group here, and he just ran the fastest lap of the race in a 50-55. So he's doing pretty good. These top 11, though, have major separation from the cars behind. It's 9 seconds to Shane Jensen and Scott Kukas. Another few back to John Kenyon and William Fletcher. And Alan Berg and Todd Miles, Earl and David Weaver. They're about 20 seconds back.
Yeah, unfortunate for Allen. He had a good run going, got turned off the nose, or they entered into the pit.
Still a long way to go here, and I would imagine numerous pit stops. Probably the next one around that lap 25-ish range, 22 to 25 if I had to guess. Had some of these guys up at the front come in at lap number 10, so they're probably going to have to come in a little bit earlier. They did seem to make the right call, though, Chris, getting out front with that earlier strategy.
Yeah, that early pit stop on lap number 10 definitely did pay off for Heath Smith, Michael Milpit, and Charlie Widener. They got themselves all the way up to the front just on a fuel-only stop. But we did see some of the drivers like John Kenyon, William Fletcher, and Shane Jensen looked like they took at least 2 tires on that stop. So that's put them back out of this lead draft right now.
Yeah, I feel like tires at a plate track like this, it's risky, especially under green, especially the first pit stop of the day.
Here comes Wayne Hutchison up on the outside. He has got Julian Ricci giving him a push. Let's see if Milpit decides to stay down the bottom with Heath Smith, or if he ducks back up to the outside to try to stop that outside run. We head down the back straightaway here on lap number 18 down. Right now up 75, 57 laps left to go. Milpit and Heath look really strong out in front together, though, right now, Liam.
They really do. Charlie Widener right there with them. These top 3 doing pretty good, but Heath Smith has not left the rear bumper of Michael Milfeld Jr. since they were able to get down in front of that 95. Now it looks like the 17 is losing his help up on the top, so Michael Milfeld Jr. continues to hold on to this lead, unchallenged for the time being.
Jump in the car here with Charlie Widener in the 95. Look at that Oregon Ducks right there in front. Go Ducks! Heath Smith right there in second. It's Milpit, Smith, and Widener, your top 3 right now.
Butch Davis and Darrell Scott just behind them, and, we can't shout out both of them, Butch and Darrell. They started on the front row. Darrell's not always been the best at qualifying, but he generally can work his way up through the pack. He's had himself some incidents this year. Then Butch Davis, we haven't really seen him in quite some time.
Well, let's take a look here real quick, and we're side by side. Look at our lap leaders so far. We've already had 6 different leaders in this race. Butch Davis has led the most laps with 7. Michael Milpit now led 5 laps. Darrell Scott, Matt Scissors led a couple. Charlie Widener and Scott Kukas have all led laps in this race.
Here comes a couple of trucks to the outside. Beltrami getting very squirrely. as they try to close in to the back bumper of that 17. However, Heath Smith and Michael Milfelt Jr. able to just continue to drag that inside lane further and further forward compared to the 17. Not at all what these guys want to see. They want to see that outside lane be more competitive, but they just can't get locked up together well enough to push up to the front.
Richie really struggling to stay in contact there with Wayne Hutchison. You can see as they're going through the corner, the air from that truck in front of you and the air from the cars down on the bottom. Richie having a really hard time staying tucked up underneath that 17 truck. And unfortunately, that's hurting both of them as they're starting to drop back to about 7th and 8th now at this point.
Still 11 trucks in this lead draft. Dustin Burns in the 04 is holding on to the tail end of it. And like I said, Chris, this is what we saw him doing at the beginning of the race. He's just leaning a couple of car lengths back, making sure that he can see everything going on in front of him. That if there does happen to be something happening, he can just slam on those brakes. Nobody behind him to run into him. Slam on the brakes. Don't hit anything.
Yeah, Julian Ricci found a little hole to get down there on the bottom, get behind Jacob Jensen. We haven't said Jacob's name too much in this race. He's worked his way up here a couple spots. He's up to 7th. Our points leader, our Phoenix, Arizona driver, now finds himself right behind the 93 of Matt Sisler. Just kind of being patient back there. Let's see if he can stay here till the end. But the 64 truck just kind of running his laps. Just trying to stay out of trouble.
Not too far away from that 95 truck. Which I know they're going to play nice. These guys are going to play nice today. But us being up in the booth, we've got to poke fun at how forced some storylines can be. So, yeah, guys, get at it.
Yeah. Will the 64 run over the 95? Oh, all right, so... we're going to see.
Here comes Widener into the pits along with his two compatriots at the front. These guys...
Yeah.
Oh, and Heath locks up contact with Widener, and they both spin.
Unfortunate right there. These three trucks have been working really well together, and that's not only going to hurt Heath Smith and Widener, that's also going to hurt Michael Milfett, because he's going to come out of these pits pretty much on his own as he gets into the pits first. Heath Smith right there behind him. Unfortunate right there.
I'm not sure how much damage is going to be on the other two trucks that did collide there on pit entry. Heath Smith looks to be fuel only. 4 tires for the 155 and the 95. So they're all going to be able to get away together, it seems. Maybe there's not so much damage and they'll be able to continue on.
That did not mark an event for me, so I was not able to go back and take a look at that real quick. But unfortunate mistake there from Heath Smith. Slid the truck into the entry. And that is definitely going to hurt all three of those trucks. I think if they did pit... They pitted on lap 10 last time, about 3 to 4 laps before everybody else. So let's see what the strategy here with Cliff Davis and Daryl Scott is with this lead group. But we've now got 4 different groups on the racetrack. We got our top group, our lead group up here with about, about 6 or 7 cars in it right now. Actually 8 at this point. And then the second group right now is led by John Kenyon and Shane Jensen and Scott Kukas. William Fletcher kind of tagging along there with him as well. And then we go back to the other group, which is David Weaver, Todd Miles, Earl Weaver, and 00 Alan Bergen. And then here's that group that just pitted. Heath Smith, Michael Milfett, and Charlie Weiner. So kind of 4 different groups spread all over the racetrack right now. But here comes the leaders.
Tried to grab an event for you there. We'll see if you can grab onto that clip.
See if we can go back and take a look at it. Looks like they're going to dive down
coming
up.
Yeah, through 3 and 4 now, about to make that left turn, and it seems like they all give each other ample space until Heath gets almost into the back of the 155.
He just got the brakes a little too hard and just napped the back of that truck around, it looked like.
You know, that's what we talk about. It's going down from 190 miles an hour down to 55, and man, it's a tough ask on these brakes that only get used for the purpose of pitting.
Yeah, you're right. That's a tough thing to do, to get these trucks slowed down enough to get into the pits. Especially the trucks that, they don't have near as much rear weight. And it's some of it's cup cars and stuff too. And that's exactly what happened there with Heath. He just snapped the back of that truck around. Don't look like they took a lot of damage, which was fortunate for him and Widener, but I think it might have hurt their pace just enough. We'll see. We'll see what happens when this lead pack comes in to see where that those three trucks will filter back in.
I expect the 43 in next time around. John Kenyon trying to figure out what's going on towards the middle of the pack there. Matt Sisler was getting on the radio talking about potentially coming in next time as well. No takers this time.
That front group, nobody coming in that front group. We'll see if anybody else comes in. We look back to the second group of pack of cars here with Shane Jensen now leading them. Unfortunate for John Kenyon. John had a good run going earlier.
Everybody in this lead pack seems to be coming in this time. I've heard Butch Davis get on, Darrell Scott, Matt Sisler.
Keep a close eye on him here.
A lot of guys. Jacob Jensen calling in from fourth. We might see the entire top 8 come into pit here. Top 9.
Go off to 3 and 4 here right now. Let's take a good look at it, see if we can get into the pits cleanly anyway. And here they come.
It's a big ask to get slowed down from 190 to 55 by yourself, but to do it with 9 other trucks is phenomenal. Everybody gets woed down. We'll keep an eye out for speeding penalties. Shane Jensen, Scott Kukas.
And you're going to dive down to the pit. Oh, they're going to dive in as well. At least Kukas won't
Oh, Shane, he's going to be late. He's going to be fast. Oh, my goodness.
If
he made it.
got it slowed up.
Oh, my goodness. That was a late dive down, a late break, and I'll be impressed if he got that.
So
Scott Kukas takes over the race lead.
So let's see Charlie Widener and Pete Smith and Michael Milford now coming through the tri-oval as our Butch Davis and them are just coming out of the pit. So we're going to see how this cycles through. You can see the lead group that just came in coming back up onto the racetrack to turn number 1. But here comes Widener, Smith, and Milford. I don't think they're going to catch him this time.
I think they're going to catch him. I don't think they're going to pass him.
Dive down, try to pick up a little draft, and that 04 that comes out of the pits. Cycles back up on the
says,
racetrack.
I'll get behind you guys.
And this group is up to speed right now, so it's Davis, Sisler, Jensen, Beltrami. So Beltrami's a lap down, so it's Barnes and Ricci now. But we've got this lead drafter of about 6 trucks as Kukas and Fletcher find their way down into the pits.
The second group is still just a hair faster. William Fletcher and Scott Kukas come into the pits, and yeah, like you said, they're going to lose the lead, giving it back to Butch Davis. Yeah, they didn't quite catch that draft. They're just a hair quicker. They might be able to catch up to it. Wayne Hutchison try to catch their tail, but
he looks to be in no man's land right there. So it looks like these 3 trucks here of Widener, Smith, and Milford, they have teamed up. They're going to stay nose to tail. I don't see anybody ducking out of line here. These 3, they're trying to make their way back to the front.
No, these guys are still a consistent 190 through the middle of the corner. They're less than 2 seconds back, and I bet Heath Smith was getting hot right there with the pushing. But they are within a second and a half now of the top 5. It's going to give Wayne Hutchison a chance to catch back up to these guys. Maybe not a huge chance, but a chance nonetheless.
And you can see
Bob Beltrami is starting to get a little squirrely, and there's separation between 3rd and 4th.
Yeah, that's going to hurt this lead pack and keep their distance away from that 3 trucks cut. We're trying to run them down. Fastest truck on the track last lap was Michael Milford with a 53.14. Almost a second faster than Butch Davis out there in the front. So watch for those 3 trucks. As you can see, they're making the eyeball test. They are making up some ground. And actually, Heath Smith's kind of losing a little draft on Milford and Widener. Let's see if he can hang on to him. Oh, they're definitely going to run him down. So, yeah, Widener and Milford, good pacer as this lead pack puts another lap on the 00 of Alan Bergen.
It's actually Alan Bergen going a lap down for the first time, and importantly for Bob Beltrami, Bob was able to stay with this lead group, allowing him to get right around Alan right away, leaving the 14 in free pass position.
31 laps down, 44 left to go. I'm Chris Murphy with Liam Irving. Sim Racing Media bringing you the Western States Racing League. Week number 16 here at Talladega. Only 4 more races to go after this one, Liam. But it's been a great season. And our point leader right now, Jacob Jensen, doing a good job staying up there in third, trying to gain maximum points here.
I think Alan Bergen might be the best friend of Heath Smith right now. He tried to get down in front of Widener and Milfelt so he could stay in this lead pack, and it's worked for him, and that's caused enough of a disturbance in the air for Heath Smith to be able to retain some of that draft. He's pulling back up, and we've got ourselves
Are you using your
8
toes?
lead lap drivers here. Yeah, 8 lead lap drivers here. There's 10 total. I was just double checking. 10 total cars. 8 of them fighting for the win at this point. Still caution free after 32 laps. Butch Davis started on the pole. He is back out front. He has led numerous laps today. We've got Wayne Hutchison and Dustin Burns doing some major pushing here, but they are losing a considerable amount of time and actually not pushing all that closely.
Yeah, at least Wayne found a friend in Dustin Burns. They're going to try to make their way back up to the front, but they are going to definitely need some more help. What's going to be their friend is once he starts getting side by side, Alan Bergen there up on the outside of that lap truck. Still Davis, Sisler, Jacob Jensen, your top 3. Everybody playing it smart. We got 33 laps down. Still a long, long way to go in this race.
Alan Bergen trying to use whatever run he can get to move up to the outside.
Yeah, he just wants to get in front of Bob Beltrami. That way, if a caution comes out, he will get the lucky dog. But doesn't look like this is going to work for him. He's going to have, if he's lucky, he's going to be able to drop back to the bottom behind Heath Smith and stay with his lead draft. But he's got to get down there in a hurry.
Yeah, I'm not sure why he ran up so high there. He's going to lose a ton of time to this lead draft and might end up losing the draft entirely.
So Butch Davis out in front. Butch with 6 career truck wins here in the Western States Racing League, looking to pick up win number 7. 93 and Matt Sisler doing a good job of hanging on right behind him. And Matt's been the pusher all day long. He has been everybody's friend. He did get out front and lead a couple of laps, but for the most part, he has been helping this 43 of Butch Davis. Actually, earlier he was helping Daryl Scott. What happened to Daryl? Daryl back here now with the Shane Jensen and John Kenyon trying to work their way back up. They are way off the pace, about a half a lap back from our lead group. A lot of guys out here are just praying for a caution right now, Liam.
Alan Bergen coming into the pits. We'll see if that's a scheduled stop for him there. Matt Sisler, like you said, he's just been everybody's friend. He's been pushing. He's pushed that 43 a ton today. I know he pushed that 62 a bit early.
With our lead group, they get ready to come up on the 242 of Scott Kukas.
Yeah, William Fletcher, David Weaver, Earl Weaver also in that group. Which could... Sorry, Alan Bergen just jumped to pits. Charlie Widener's coming in. On with Milfelt and Smith.
Once again, so that group staying with each other, diving down the pits. It looks like they're going to make it clean this time. Also right there in front of them is the 28 of William Fletcher. So they might pick up another drafting partner here.
William Fletcher from that lap down, or almost lap down group just in front of the leaders. He comes into pit. They get a 4th guy who's willing to stick with them. They might be in pretty good shape if they keep working this undercut. And another interesting thing that I want to point out here is that we are 1 lap away from halfway. These guys coming in just before half. It'll be interesting to see if they'll be able to make it on the same amount of stops.
So we can see our lead group now catching up with these 4 lap trucks right there in front of them. It's Todd Miles, Earl Weaver, David Weaver, and Scott Kukas. They're going to work their way around through here. Oh, Davis has to take a little evasive move. Earl Weaver kind of moved up the racetrack there on him. But we're going to get through clear to our lead pack up on the outside. Beltrami hanging right there with him, 1 lap down. He still is hoping for a caution fight to get himself back on the lead lap.
But now we're in an interesting situation. We've got 4 lap down cars, 5 lead lap cars. Well, now 5 lead lap cars and 5 lap down cars. We've got 2 completely separate races happening in this front pack. The race for the free pass and the race for the lead.
And we take a look back here at Widener, and it looks like Heath Smith may have had an issue. He is not with his drafting partners anymore. So that drafting group is now down to 2. It's Milfit and Widener. Some kind of issue there with P. Smith. He found himself a lap down. He had a long pit stop for some reason, about 10 seconds longer than his 2 drafting partners. Might have had some kind of a slowdown or a holdup for some reason, but so that group of 3 is now down to 2. But it's Butch Davis still out here in the front. So we are at the halfway mark. We are going to take this opportunity here real quick. Just jump to a commercial. We'll be back in about 2.5 minutes, but we'll keep this up on the screen, and if anything happens, we'll jump back in. So we'll be right back.
Back live here at Talladega Super Speedway. Butch Davis coming up off of the pit lane. Matt Sisler just behind him. Jacob Jensen and Julian Ritchie get out in front of the rest of that pack that came in. Shane Jensen, John Kenyon, Daryl Scott in just behind these guys. Brian Barnes comes in this time. He stayed out to lead a lap. He's going to come in with a couple of these lap down trucks. And now there are 4 drivers in this group fighting for the lead.
Yeah, this long green flag runs are really shaking things up. We saw Michael Milfett, Charlie Widener, and Heath Smith kind of on their own strategy, but unfortunately it's only down to 2 now. There's a problem with Heath Smith, but he's fallen off the pace there with his 2 drafting partners. And that has really hurt their run. So right now you can see this lead pack of 4 coming off through the tri-oval. And I'm looking back to that 95 and the 155, and they're just now going through 3 and 4. So
yeah, a 14-second difference coming up off of the pit lane. That's the difference that one truck can make here. We're seeing a group of 4 here at the front. Here's Brian Barnes with Bob Beltrami. Beltrami technically is at the tail end of the lead lap right now, as long as he stays in front of Barnes and Butch Davis. We'll see how likely that's going to be, though. These guys not together at all, and those top 4 coming in a hurry.
yeah, I think Barnes and Beltrami are going to be able to cycle in, which will really help this top 4. They could use a couple more drafting partners to keep that gap back to that second group. And I think you're going to see Beltrami and Barnes cycle up right behind these top 4 as they come on by on the outside.
Try to get down in front of them. Barnes going to try to follow them through. He doesn't have the draft right now, nor the help. Get around Beltrami, so he's going to have to fall back in line. Another significant thing about this lead pack is there's only 1 lap down car in there right now. So they're not racing for anything in terms of lappers.
Look here.
Definitely noticed in the late stages of these races, though, we tend to see some aggression pop up when we've got guys fighting for the free pass position and you've got guys fighting for the top 5 spots. Everything been calm and cordial today, but still got 30 laps to go.
We'll take a look here. So 3 pit stops so far right now for Butch Davis. Looks like he's taken 2 tires on a couple of stops. Fuel only on the last one. 45. We're at 44 laps in this. About 30 laps left to go now. 45 laps down.
Had a lot of leaders at the beginning of this thing, but been Butch Davis for probably over 20 laps now.
Yeah, 27 laps led by Butch Davis there. Michael Milfett was 7th. Daryl Scott, who led early, with 5. Daryl Scott now kind of way off the pace back there in 11th. He's running back there about that 3rd group of trucks. Matt Sisser, Brian Barnes, Scott Kukas, Charlie Widener have all led laps here so far tonight.
Another group of trucks just in front of your leaders. Heath Smith is at risk of going a lap down.
Yeah, you see Heath here with John Kenyon, and it looks like the 46 of Earl Weaver.
And this could complicate things in that lead pack.
Yeah, you can see the top 5 trucks right there with the lap truck of Bob Beltrami cycled in and then come down the back straight. They're definitely going to catch those 3 trucks there in front of them within the next couple of laps. Might help a little bit with a little bit more draft, but then they're going to have to get out of line. You can see Butch likes to keep the truck down on the bottom through the corners, but once they catch that lap traffic, he's more than likely going to have to move up to the outside. We're going to take a look back here. It looks like the 95 of Widener and Michael Milfett found a couple more drafting partners. They got the 16 of David Weaver right there with him, and Scott Kukas. And who is that lurking back behind him? I think that's the 11 Miles. So these guys can all get grouped up, or Kukas having a hard time staying with him right now. But if they can get grouped up to 5, they might have a chance if these leaders start running side by side.
Yeah, they're going to have a long way to go, though. They're 16 seconds behind the race lead. Looks like these lap cars are going to get out of the way. They're going to move high.
They are going to move up
Heath
to the
Smith,
top.
he came into pit.
Yeah, Heath Smith out there. He's out on an island now by himself. Lost his partners earlier in that last pit stop. So Kenyon and we were just going to move up out of the way, like you said. Let's let those lead trucks go by. It's Davis out in front. Davis has not been with Western States since about the 5th race of this season. Coming here tonight, Talladega, and putting on a show. He's got the 93 of Matt Sisser right there behind us. So we've still got 5 trucks up here in the front with a chance to win this race. Could be more if we get a caution, but right now it looks like it's going to be down to these 5. A couple lap cars thrown into here with Beltrami, Kenyon, and Weaver. Weaver looks to be
8 trucks up in this lead pack here. 5 on the lead lap, 3 1 lap down. We're going to have 49 laps complete this time around.
See what's going on back here with our second group, Milfett Widener. They have got picked up a little bit of help.
They have, but they're coming into pit. They're going to come in and make a pit stop this time. Watch for them to dive down, give each other some space.
This will be the 4th stop here for Milfett and Widener. And Heath Smith still sitting. Is Heath sitting down here waiting for his buddies?
Wouldn't that be something?
I don't know. Let's see what he's doing. Heath Smith's been here in the pits now for a few laps. Let's see if this shakes out. Let's see if he pitted here a little bit early and is now going to sit here and wait for Widener and Milfett. I mean, he's been down there for 2 minutes now at this point.
Oh, they all left pits together.
So Heath kind
of a strategy call here to pick up a friend, to pick up Heath Smith.
Yeah, so
try to get that early race magic going.
We've
got 25 laps to go. Yeah, they are.
So Heath kind of saw himself out of contention. Decided to sit there in the pits, wait for his 2 partners to come down and pit so he can come out with him and give him a little bit of help. So we'll see how that plays out for him. But they really got 25 laps left to go. We have been green flagged for 50 laps here at Talladega. Western States Racing League, they always put on a show, and they're putting on a good one today here at Talladega.
These guys are absolutely phenomenal week in and week out. I know we had ourselves a little bit of an anomaly in Martinsville with a ton of cautions, but like I said, I believe that was more setup based, and that's something that can be fixed. This is an incredible drive that these guys are throwing together. 50 laps at Talladega. 4 pit stops for most of these guys already. I'm impressed.
Yeah, it's what's really weird for me on our software. You know what I'm talking about. We have this event log that tells us everything that's going on, crashes and off tracks and all this different stuff. I got one thing on there. There's one note this whole race, and that was Todd Miles when he got together with Alan Bergen on that first pit stop. That is the only thing on our whole event log for the day. So you guys just putting on a good show, good race here, good clean race from the Western States Racing League. If you're looking for a league to come join, look these guys up. We're about 4 races left in this season, but they will be starting season 54. Is that right? I believe Aliam next probably once.
Should be 54.
Yeah, we'll be rolling into the next season. So Western States Racing League been around since like 1999. Just a great group of drivers.
Exciting stuff, but I just want to say my event log is a lot more exciting than yours.
I must have some stuff.
I've got overtakes on.
Oh, you know what?
I've got overtakes turned on. I've got pits turned on, and
that's probably why.
Yeah, dude. I mean, there are things happening all over this racetrack at all times, and I gotta say, I know it's because it's a plate track, but even then, these guys have changing positions, overtakes happening all the time. Always a great time to watch.
So here we see Butch Davis one more time, still out in front. Dragons, these guys have just done, the patience here is something you don't see with a lot of leagues, especially any of us that run any official races. You definitely don't see the kind of patience on a plate track like this. But these guys showing a lot of patience here, just staying nose to tail. They know they just need, if they can stay together like this, just leave it down to about 5 or 6 trucks when it comes down to the end. But if they start racing, and here they're going to come up on the back of the 04 of Dustin Burns. And Dustin going to stay down on the bottom of the racetrack, right there in front of him, that 17 of Wayne Hutchison. So that is your 8th, 7th, and 6th place truck right there in front of him with Hutchison, Scott, and Jensen. So we are about to only have 5 trucks left on the lead lap. Now,
which is going to make this battle to be on the lead lap so much more important. And now we've got the Jensens together.
Yeah, let's see if Shane kind of tucks up there behind Jacob if there's space. I don't think there's any room to get between him and Julian Ricci. It looked like Jacob kind of thought to duck down in front of him there for a second, and now we're side by side. Davis and Sisser drop down to the bottom in front of Shane Jensen. That's going to leave Jacob and Ricci there on the outside of the racetrack.
Now we've got Milfelt, Heath Smith, and Charlie Widener. These guys are just behind this pack with a huge hole punched in the air in front of them. They're going to have a chance to get up here and be in contention for this free pass.
21 laps left to go in this race. It is still, I would say anybody's race, but really it's about down to about 5 trucks. It's down to Davis, Sisler, Jensen, and Ricci and Barnes at this point.
Well, now we've got a couple of different agendas up front and a huge pack of trucks here on the front straightaway.
Yeah, but as we're getting more and more trucks grouped up together here, as they're cycling through and picking up these lap cars, you can see Milfett, Widener, they're on the outside coming along with their buddy Heath Smith as well. The more trucks we get together in a pack, the more chance of a caution coming out. And all it takes is just takes a little mistake, just one lapse in concentration, just a little bump here and there, and we could see the big one here at Talladega.
I think these guys are coming into pit.
This is going to be sketchy if these are all coming into pit right now. Jensen got himself to the front here. He's going to come down. It looks like Ricci is going to stay. Oh, Ricci is going to come down.
Oh, Ricci almost gets hit. He's going to go wide.
Oh, nice.
Almost hits Jensen. 4 of the top 5 come in this time.
But Barnes is going to stay out right now again. Looks like Hutchison may have had a problem.
We'll see how this pack stays together, how it groups back up here in the end.
See if we can see what happened to Wayne Hutchison in the 17 here. Not sure what happened. He's down there on the bottom of the racetrack. Is he coming out of the pits here at that point?
Yeah, he was coming out of the pits. Oh, Matt Sisler and Shane Jensen have had a problem.
19 laps left to go, and there's Kenyon. Kenyon's going to lose it getting down to the pits. We've seen this 3 or 4 times here tonight. Let's see if we can see what happened to Shane Jensen here with Sisler. Looks like coming out of the pits. Sisler there on the outside. Shane Jensen down. Oh, Shane just lost it and catches the back of Sisler.
Matt Sisler has spent almost this entire race back behind the 43, right up front.
There's our leader, Brian Barnes, come down to the pits. See if we can get back to live time here. A lot going on. We'll try to stay with it. Jensen, Barnes is going to come down to the pits right now. That is going to hand the lead over to Jacob Jensen. And he's kind of by himself. He's only got the left track at Scott Kukas for some help. As you can see, Ricci and Butch Davis now right behind him. So Jacob Jensen, our point leader in the Western States Racing League, has now found his way to the lead.
Oh, and he wants to push this 242 as much as he can. Get up to Brian Barnes and get past him. Get separation between the 18 and have as few trucks in contention for this win as possible.
Let's see where separation on the racetrack. I'm looking over my map. We can see this group of Milfett, Widener, and Smith. They're about halfway down the back straightaway. Jensen now and them coming off of turn number 4. Suka's going to dive down to the pits. Jensen got the lap truck of Bob Beltrami right there behind him. Brian Barnes, second place. Ricci, Butch Davis. Now that's going to be the top 4 with the lap truck of Beltrami there in the middle.
$17 laps to go. Jensen, Barnes, Ricci, Butch Davis, and Michael Milfelt Jr. are your top 5. Milfelt, however, is 13 seconds behind this lead group. Now, I believe everybody requires one more pit stop. I think Widener and Milfelt,
I would think so.
Can make it to the end on one more. They've gained some time through their strategy. Just hasn't been a whole lot.
Now, they had good strategy earlier, but I think once they lost their partner, Smith, and it was just down to Widener and Milfit, that definitely hurt their run. Smith did what he could to try to get back there with him, but it may be a little bit too late. They're about half a straightaway behind right now at this point.
They have been significantly quicker these last couple of laps.
So our lead pack now down to 5. Lap truck of Bob Beltrami right there, tucked up behind your leader, Jacob Jensen. Brian Barnes down there on the bottom, Junior Reach, and these guys are doing a good job of keeping that truck right down on the bottom, right on that yellow line. John Kenyon there in the 88 Granger sponsored truck, going to move up out of the way. Take the eyeball.
Maybe 15 laps to go this time.
I
believe the window for the final stop opens up around 14 to go.
So Winder and Milfit pitted back on lap 49, and they've only been going about 10 to 11 laps per pit stop, so I think we're going to see them come in the next couple of laps. They're going to have to go at least 2 more laps if they're going to make it just one more stop. Alright, looks like this lead group might pick up another straggler back there. Oh, sorry, clicked on the wrong one, but there we go. Going to pick up another straggler of the 88. Kenya's going to tag along with him, give another drafting partner. And it looks like the 16 of David Weaver are also going to try to join this group. Beltrami down to the bottom. Going to try to get his lap back from Jensen. Jensen moves up to the top. That is going to take Brian Barnes to the lead. Jensen's going to go all the way back to 4th at this point, because here comes Davis down the bottom as well. I think you're going to see the 64 slide to the back of this line. No, he's going to tuck his way in right behind the 43 in front of the 88 of John Kenyon.
Yeah, Kenyon and Weaver let him down in there. So with Bob Beltrami in the lead, that puts Darrell Scott in 9th place as your free pass truck. He's 20-some seconds behind this group, but
I think we're going to go caution free here, Liam. As small as this group up here is in front, and you look who's in this pack. It's all the veteran drivers. It's Beltrami, it's Barnes, it's Ricci, it's Butch Davis. You know, the only young kid in here that I can see is that 64 of Jacob Jensen. He's one of probably the less experienced out of anybody we're looking at here in this top 6 right now. But he has won a lot of races this year, so even though he's probably the less experienced, he's not, what's the word, I'm trying to find the right word here. He may not have as many laps, but he's not lacking in experience, and I don't think he'll do anything too crazy here in this race.
Milfeld, Widener, and Smith. Yeah, Smith comes in with them. We're going to have a couple of different strategies here coming towards the end. And then it's going to be an all-out sprint to the finish.
Everything okay?
These guys going to have to try to get their absolute best runs here and hope that they can keep their noses clean.
So Barnes now at the point. Barnes 3rd on the all-time win list for Truck Series here for the Western States Racing League. 30 wins. Looking to pick up win number 31 here tonight. And he's got his old buddy Bob Beltrami right there for help. Even though Bob's a lap down, he is pulling that number 4 truck along. Julian Ricci right there in 3rd. Or in 2nd, actually, at this point. Yeah, it looks like they're getting ready to catch a big pack of lap cars right there in front of them. Looks like that group maybe be led by the number 11 of Todd Miles. So Miles, Weaver, Kupit here, right? Lap truck.
Charlie Widener, Milfeld also coming up into that group. 11 laps to go for your race leaders.
And the leaders are right behind that group right now. You can see them right back there behind. These two groups getting ready to come together here with about 10 laps left to go at this point.
I'm not worried about the size of the pack. I'm worried about the agendas that each driver is going to have. Some guys are going to want to try to race for their lap back. Some of these guys might try to, hold this pack behind them so they can retain their lead lap position.
Let's see, Beltrami's got to go to the outside of the lead lap cars are in front of him, even though that's actually for position. Oh no, they're going to put him another lap down. Beltrami at the end of the lead pack. These three trucks are going by right now. They're already down one lap. But Widener, Milfit, and Widener and Milfit up there in front of him would be positioned for Beltrami. So he's trying to get back up here, trying to get as close to the front as he can. So here they come by these lap cars. And if anything's going to happen, it's going to be right now as this pack kind of grows.
Doing the switcheroo just in front. Now I know these three are definitely going to try to stay out in front of these leaders.
And to go. Here at Talladega, the Western States Racing League, I'm Chris Murphy with Liam Irving for Sim Racing Media. Hey, if it's your first time here, give us a subscribe, click a like, click whatever. Just find something on the screen and give it a click. But if you're looking for some league coverage, reach out to us. Find us on simracingmedia.com. Send us a message. Get you filled into our schedule. So we are down 9 laps left to go right now. Your leader, Brian Barnes. This is getting a little more interesting, Liam. This group's getting bigger.
It is. Brian Barnes staying very, very close to that back bumper of Bob Beltrami, trying to push him up. And those three trucks at the front of this pack, those are positions for Beltrami. This guy's at the tail end of the lead lap. Bob Beltrami also there. Julian Ritchie, a lead lap driver, going down to the inside. He's trying to get side by side. That's a battle for the lead, about 6th. That's the 7th truck in line in this pack, and there's a battle for the lead right here. Is Ritchie down on the bottom.
Kuka started to move up there a little bit, and actually Beltrami, Barnes not able to get enough pace to get by these guys on the outside. They've got David Weaver now behind him, but here comes Ritchie down the bottom. It's going to be Ritchie to the lead now as he makes his way around Barnes. Butch Davis right there behind him, so that is a race for the lead right there between the 4 and the 18.
A lot of separation down there on the bottom. We'll see if the 43 can get back up there and push, but for now, Brian Barnes is going to nose back out up front. Julian Ritchie getting a nice tow, and Bob Beltrami having to force his way through the air.
A little wiggle there from Barnes,
slowing him down
behind him. Little wiggle from the Ford truck. I think Weaver might have got a little bit too close to him, and they're getting a little bit run on that outside. Here comes Beltrami. Here comes Barnes. Here comes David Weaver on the outside, and Barnes back to the lead as he makes his way around Ritchie. Let's see if they can get some pace out there. I've 7 laps left to go here, Liam. I'm starting to feel a green-white checkered coming our way.
Yeah, we'll just have to see. I mean, some of these guys up front, they're going to have to make another pit stop. The only guys that I know for sure that are technically still on the lead lap that can make it are Milfelt and Widener.
Let's see, Barnes, Ritchie, Davis, and all them pitted back on lap 56 and 57. They might be able to make it out. They've been drafting. They might be saving some fuel right here. They could go at least 17 laps. And there's Heath Smith way up on the outside. He's lost his 2 partners up there in the front.
Yeah, I think that might have been by design. He's so many laps down. He doesn't want to potentially get involved in a crash that's going to affect the race win here. It's a smart call out of the one. I know it's not quite what he wants to do. He wants to be there for his buddies, but
there was 28 to win. Fletcher down on the bottom of the racetrack as well. He's kind of off the pace. We lost Wayne Hutchinson somewhere at one point. He is out of this race as well. So here's our fight for the lead. It's between the 4. Oh, Beltrami. Wow. I'm not sure how he saw that. I'm not sure how he saw that hole down there, but
he jumps down Brian Barnes with a push from John Kenyon. Julian Ritchie wants to come in this time. Should have help with the 43.
Take a look inside the truck here with Brian Barnes up on the outside. You can see 242 Cooper's down there on the bottom. I believe Bob Beltrami. Barnes going to make his way. He found a hole to get down into the pits.
He did. Is he going to get it wound down in time? I don't know. That's close.
And here's all
everybody on the lead lap.
And here's our top 4 trucks. That is our top 5 trucks that were on the lead lap, even though Beltrami was at the back. So it's Barnes. So that is going to, these are still our lead trucks. We're going to see where Milfit and them are. Milfit and Widener pitted back on lap 62. They're going to be able to go to the end here, but they're just now coming down the back straightaway with this group. And being 2x2, there's not helping their run. If they were single filed out here with all these trucks, they might have a chance to catch that lead group coming off the. When they come out of the pits with Barnes, Jensen, they're already making their way out. So I don't think that second group is gonna even come close to catching these top 5 trucks.
No, you are absolutely right. I think with that pack staying the size it did, Milfelt and Widener were not able to get the gap that was necessary. Bob Beltrami goes back to... Oh, and the caution is out!
I have no idea what it was for, but I do see it looks like it might have been something with John Kenyon.
John Kenyon and Scott Kukas.
That is going to make it interesting, but unfortunately, Bob Beltrami... So Bob Beltrami is going to be the lucky dog. Well, not unfortunate, but Bob Beltrami is going to get the lucky dog here. Let's see if we can go back and see what happened to John Kenyon. 70 laps caution free, and we get a... Oh.
Yeah.
I'm going to rewind that and see what happened. So we can see... I think... Was Kenyon trying to get down to the pits? No, they just kind of...
I think he maybe thought the 242 was coming in or didn't know he was there, but either way.
Let's go back one more time here and get a little bit different angle on it. Although, okay, so we have those you have the other trucks diving down to the pits right there. Kenyon up on the outside. Kukas down there on the bottom. And look, I have to say, it looks like John just might have moved down on him, and unfortunately, both those trucks taking some heavy damage. Maybe he thought Kukas dove down to the pits with his other trucks. I'm not quite sure, but unfortunate there for John Kenyon and Scott Kukas. Well, I hate to be the one that jinxed it. I did say I felt a green and white checkered coming our way.
You did also say you felt a caution-free race coming our way, so...
Well, that was earlier. I kind of changed my tune when they started getting a little more grouped up.
All I know is that if you bet on everything, you're going to win, but you're not going to win any money.
Well, I bet earlier on the straight flush, and that didn't come through, so I was betting on the 2 pair.
All right.
That is going to lead Brian Barnes. So that is going to put... Is that going to put 13 trucks on the lead lap, if my math is correct? I can't see that being right.
You have to jump up to Barnes.
Oh, okay, 7.
So that's
8 with
Beltrami.
Yep. So Daryl Scott's going to be the first car a lap down in 9th, back in 9th when this is over with. Unfortunately, Daryl was running up front a good portion of the race earlier, and Matt Sisler, timely caution for him as he was involved in a little bit of incident off of pit road. And look at these trucks in the back going to come and take some tires. I think they're going to take... So our leaders here only took fuel only, Barnes, Jensen, and they could not dive back in. But here comes Davis. All the rest of these lead lap trucks are going to come in, and I think they're going to all take 4 tires here at this point. So that is going to leave Barnes and Jensen out there. And let's see if we can take a look. So, I can pull up this chart here. So Barnes has only taken 2 tires this entire race. If this chart is correct, Jensen took 2 tires back on his laps, pissed off about lap 55. And all the other lead trucks behind these guys are going to have fresh rubber on. Now,
that doesn't matter here.
It doesn't matter as much, but it's got to help you a little bit.
Fresh tires aren't going to help you push somebody faster. If anything, hot tires will.
Yeah, but you got these guys out here on these he's been out. Barnes and Jensen have been on these tires for a long time. They probably picked up some rubber off the racetrack, so they're cooling down now at this point. Now, I don't know the physics in iRacing if they'll cap over, but if it was real life, I'd be a little worried to have these tires capping over at this point. But Barnes and Jensen are going to have to do everything they can to hold on to this lead right now. I think we're going to see Butch Davis and Julian Ricci come to the front, but Milfit and Widener, Sisler have all been quick here today. And don't forget Beltrami. He has held on to this lead lap draft all day long, even though he somehow found himself a lap down early. It's going to get interesting.
You know, we will see.
We got 8 trucks.
I've seen Seen in the Cup Series, guys run 60 lap stages on one set, or on the same set of tires, going fuel only. I just feel like on a green-white checker, at a track like this, with how important that front and rear bumper is going to be, not even Wally Dollarback could convince me that tires are going to matter.
A Wally Dallenbach reference. I did not have that on my bingo card.
Hey, sometimes you gotta show some love for the guys.
All right, one lap.
On to green this time. Brian Barnes, Jacob Jensen, Butch Davis, Julian Ritchie, Michael Milfeld Jr., Charlie Widener, and Matt Sisler. All on the lead lap. Bob Beltrami got the free pass to get onto the lead lap, but because of the rules, he will have to start at the tail end of the field.
He's going to come down.
So as all of these lapped cars, when he gets into their positions, you see Bob Beltrami coming in, getting some service done. He's taking 4 tires, just in case, maybe maneuverability.
All right, come down the back straightaway here one more time. Barnes, is it Jacobs? Yeah, Jensen. Jacob Jensen. It's not Jacobs, it's Jacob Jensen. Going to be in second. Butch Davis, Julian Ricci, Michael Milford, Charlie Widener, Matt Sisler, Bob Beltrami. That is going to be our 8 trucks on the lead lap as we go back to the green flag with just 2 laps left to go. This will be our. I don't know if this really isn't a green-white checkered official attempt here at this point. So, or is it?
That is correct. No, it's not.
Yeah.
We're going to go. Oh, no, this is. So we're going to go green with 74 laps complete.
Gotcha.
So the race would end on lap 76. This is attempt number 1 at overtime.
I believe we have 3 attempts here in the Western States Racing League. We've got 8 lead lap trucks for the win, and then we've got another about 9 trucks out there on the racetrack, all numerous laps down. We're going to see how this shakes out. Bring us back to the green here, Liam.
Say 7 drivers with a realistic chance to win it right now. 8. If we get another yellow, maybe more. But Brian Barnes, he's led the points for the first half of this season. He's got Jacob Jensen to his outside, who's led the points for the second half of the season. Butch Davis and Julian Ricci both looking for strong runs here. Milfeld trying to go 2 in a row. Widener looking to get a rebound from last week. Green flag back in the air. Jensen trying to get down in front of Barnes. The 43 is going to have to relinquish that spot. And around goes Julian Ritchie. Going to spin down to the inside. We stay green. Ritchie driving away. Brian Barnes holds out of the race lead. Jacob Jensen behind him. Butch Davis, Charlie Widener, Michael Milfeld Jr., and Matt Sisler all in line here. Battle behind them as drivers fight for position off of the lead lap.
Watch that run.
David Weaver.
Watch that run of that 95 and the 155. They've got a gap to that top 3. If they can get some pace up off of 4, they're going to have a good run going down into 1 and 2.
Heath Smith is there if he can try to link up with them. What could happen here? The white flag is in the air. 1 lap to go here at Talladega.
Butch goes to throw the
Widener
block on
moves
Widener.
up to the top. Butch Davis moves up for the block, as mentioned. Big run here. Matt Sisler trying to get with the 155. They're still side by side for third.
Jacob's got to pull up.
Milfeld gets to Milfeld to the back bumper of Widener. He pushes. They're pushing down on the bottom. A little bit more on top, though, as Matt Sisler gets lined up. Now here comes Butch Davis with a big push. Shane Jensen trying to push through to Jacob. Coming up off of turn number 4. Brian Barnes is clear for the race lead.
Here comes Widener up on the outside. Barnes down there on the bottom. He's got to push him. We're 3 or 4 wide. And there goes Widener into the fence, upside down. We are crashing at the line here at Talladega. It's going to be Brian Barnes to the line, going to take the win with Jacob Jensen and Butch Davis, your top 3.
My goodness, what a run to the finish. Butch Davis tried to get up in there and make something happen, and the hole closed up as everybody went into the tri-oval. So Brian Barnes wins the race today, and that's his first win on the season.
We've had him on the podium quite a few times. Brian Barnes, They're 63-year-olds. Is that what he said last week? Do you remember when he had him in the booth?
It might have been what he said, 63. But either way, we'll get to talk to him. We'll get to talk to him in a big way as he gets the checkered flag first. And a phenomenal run. Only took 2 tires the whole race.
He had a lot of help there at the end. It was Jacob Jensen giving him a push right to the finish line. Widener there on the outside. We'll go back and take a look at that finish here real quick to see what happened. See Widener up on the outside getting pushed from Milf as they're going to come to the line. Jensen down there on the bottom. Davis kind of moved up a little bit, and that was the contact. Yeah, and as Davis moved up, Widener kind of got a little wiggle, and that, I think Milf had got in the back of him there at that point.
Yeah, I think Shane Jensen might have gotten into the back of Butch Davis a little bit too hard there. He was really pushing the back bumper of that 43 to try to push the 64 out front and far enough to be able to make a move, but just got him a bit up the track, got him a bit squirrely. The contact was made with Widener, Milfelt. Heath Smith goes for a wild ride. A lot of wild rides here.
Milfelt upside down. Brian Barnes going to take the win. I'll go back and see what happened to Jensen or Julian Ricci on that restart as well. Unfortunate for him. He had Widener right there behind him, giving him a push on the start of that. He's trying to get down in front of Milfit. He tried to get down in that hole right there, and I think, he just didn't have Milfit cleared.
No, he did not.
Unfortunate for Ricci. He ran up front all day long. Another fantastic race here, Liam.
Yeah, absolutely incredible stuff. I mean, these guys ran 70 laps caution free. You get the one at the end, and then you get the big one on the last lap. Brian Barnes winds up with his first win of the season. Butch Davis winds up on the podium as well. Guy we haven't seen in a while. Can't forget about Jacob Jensen coming home in second. Just improving his points lead.
Yeah, Butch Davis hasn't been here for about, 10 or 11, 12 weeks now at this point. Shows up, puts on a strong run. He looked to be the strongest truck out here, but ends up third, just kind of helping his buddies. I really didn't have anywhere to go there at the end. He had Widener up on the outside of him, and it looks like our race leader, Brian Barnes, is in the waiting room. It's going to bring him in here for you.
Yeah, Brian, it's Liam and Chris up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I do. Hang on one sec.
Got to cue the hold music.
Sorry, there's people in my ear. I had to get rid of them.
Yeah, no problem at all. Well, first off, congratulations. Your first win on the season. And it comes in pretty exciting fashion here at Talladega.
Yeah, that's very unusual. But, that was a fun race. Lots of pit stops. Got to thank Bobby for pulling he got a lap down early, but still pulled me to the front of the pack, and that's what it took to get that green-white checker.
Yeah, we saw you and Bob working well together at the end, but kind of talk to us about those pit stops. We saw numerous mistakes getting into pit lane from a bunch of drivers. What did it take for you to kind of, I guess, not make any mistakes?
Yeah, in practice, I did a couple of them, and so I figured it out real quick what RPM I needed to be in, because it was hard to see the speedometer kind of pop up, and get to it in time. So as long as I knew what RPM I needed to be at, I didn't end up speeding or anything coming into the pits. So that helped.
Yeah, we saw a couple of close moments getting out of the pit road, and you definitely did a phenomenal job with that. Walk us through racing with Bob there. Like you said, he pulled you along and pulled you to the front and then pulled you up into the pack of lappers for a little bit, getting away from some guys.
Yeah, towards the end, I didn't know how that was going because we got in that big group of lappers and we needed the pit and we were on the high side. So it was a real struggle to figure out how to get down and across their noses on that last pit stop.
Well, Brian, you got it done here at the biggest track of all. What does it mean to you, and who do you want to thank for such a strong performance here?
As usual on these big tracks, you got to thank your teammates, Dog Bear Boys. We lost Wayne there at the mid part of the race, but like I say, Bobby still was there to pull me along, and that's what it took is the teammates at these big tracks.
Awesome stuff, Brian. Congratulations on the win, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you again soon.
All right, thanks, guys. Have a good one.
All right, and then we've got second place Jacob Jensen.
Jacob, hey buddy, you got Chris and Liam here in the booth. Are you with us?
I got you.
Just a great run there today. You know, you started in ninth, moved up with some spots here. You looked to just be patient. Was that your plan all day long? Just be patient and kind of ride along.
Yeah, that kind of was it with how many pit stops and pit cycles we were having to do today. I was really just trying to make sure that I was there for the finish, and we got a caution at the end, which kind of grouped it all back together, which kind of made it all for naught. But if we wouldn't have gotten a caution, I would have been there for that finish, and it would have been definitely something interesting.
Yeah, guys, 70 laps, caution free. That's got to be a little bit. A lot of people don't understand that even sim racing, concentration it takes out on a track like this for that long green flag run, it can take it out of you.
Yeah, definitely. Being a inch or two apart for most of the race is very difficult, and it's a lot of fun, but definitely something that takes a lot of skill.
So you got down there towards the end. It looked like you had a chance to get around Brian, but unfortunately you had Widener and a couple of trucks to the outside. Were you just satisfied just pushing Brian to the line, or were you just hoping for just a gap somewhere to get around to the outside?
Well, I really didn't want to push him to the line. I'll be honest there. Since he's one of my main championship rivals. But when I saw that 95, 155, and one all kind of going together, I was like, we're probably not going to be able to beat them. Just two or one of us. So I was gonna work together with him and see if I can make something happen right at the end there. But then they were wrecking, and it was kind of single file to the end.
Well, it paid off for you today. You had a little misfortune last week, but you still hold on to the point lead. We got what, 4 more races to go. We go to Gateway, I think, next week, if I remember correctly. How do you feel about that?
Gateway's a really fun track. Got to use a lot of brakes, and even you're going to be shifting down into turn 1 and 2. So it's going to be really fun. Just how much driver skill that track's going to take, and then also with just the rest of the season, it'll be interesting once the points, the drop races come into effect. What's going to be happening with the points?
Well, before we get you out here, another good run. Congratulations. Great race. Fun to watch. But you got anybody you want to give a thanks to?
Well, I want to thank the dear Lord. I want to thank my family. I want to say that 8 car had a decent run going until he got a little too deep in his pit box. I want to thank some of my friends that watch this. I want to thank W, Apex Velocity Motorsports, Box Banter, Racing Paradise, and 4-4 Simulations.
All right, Jacob. We'll see you next week at Gateway.
Yep, have a nice one.
All right. And our third place finisher, Butch Davis. You there, Liam?
Yeah, Butch, it's Liam and Chris up at the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, man, we haven't seen you in a while. I don't know if it's been since week 5, but you come back in style. You get to talk with us on the podium. That STP machine was looking good all day. Led a lot of laps. What more do you think you could have done there at the end to win the race?
I don't really know that there was a lot that I could do to win the race. Not having any teammates out there hurts at a place like this, Daytona, the new Atlanta Superspeedway. So it was just basically, try to push the pack as much as I could, which is why I was up front so much, just trying to run fast laps, not really lagging back at all. Knew we really couldn't, you're not going to cut a pit stop saving fuel, so that's just pointless. It's just basically try to run, get really good pit stops and thin the herd out. So instead of a 1 in 20 chance of winning the race, you've got a 1 in, 5 or 1 in 3 chance of winning the race or whatever. So yeah, that last yellow came out, kind of knew it was pretty much over as far as trying to win the thing, but tried to give Jacob Jensen a little shot there. There was a point where he might have been able to move up from behind Brian, and I could have shoved him by before Widner, Millfelt, and Heath got to us. But Jacob didn't move up, so we just kind of stayed in line. I'm like, all right, well, I guess I'm just hanging out with you guys for the rest of this run. So yeah, I mean, it was fun. Unfortunately, my work schedule's kind of screwed me over with trying to run these races here, but I try to make them when I can.
But we were definitely glad to see you. You made it exciting, and you were virtually flawless all day on pit road on the racetrack. Who helps you get it done? Who do you want to thank for such a strong run? You can make it long. We don't talk to you very much.
Yeah, not going to thank any of my FBR teammates because none of them showed up to. But no, definitely thanks to all my FBR guys. Great group of guys. Nobody could really make it tonight as well. We're all battling work schedules and sicknesses and everything else. So hope everybody gets better and they get their work schedules figured out so we can show up and run some more of these together as a group. Thank Bob for putting the league on and all you guys up in the booth. Thank my sponsors, SimMotion, FBR SimRig Accessories Creation Studio, V&M Simulations. Thank my family for letting me do this stuff. I'm an old man. I just turned 52, and the fact that my wife lets me play games still is pretty cool. So I'm not going to complain too much.
Awesome stuff, man. Congratulations on the podium, but you say you're an old man at 52. I think you might have just gotten beat by a 63-year-old.
Yeah, I did. Brian gives hope to the rest of us older people, that we might still have it, for me in 11 years. And for these young guys like Jacob, he's only 18. Geez, I got kids older than him. I got grandkids older than him. So yeah, it just kind of like gives us something to look forward to, maybe, that we can still do this and be competitive down the road.
Well, awesome stuff, man. Congrats on the podium, and we'll be talking to you again, as soon as you show up next time.
Thank you, gentlemen. You guys have a great night.
All right, that is going to bring us to the end of our post-race interviews. We're going to take a look here at the race results. Pull it up here, see if it'll pull up on the screen. There it is. Your winner is going to be Brian Barnes in the number 4. Jacob Jensen, your point leader. There in second. Butch Davis rounds out the podium. We just got done talking to Butch. Hopefully see Butch around some more races this year. It has been a while since he's been out, but fourth place, Bob Beltrami with a great. Bob found himself a lap down early, hung on that lead pack all day long, took advantage of that late caution flag. Comes home in fourth. Matt Sisler, Michael Milfett, Julian Ricci, Charlie Widener, Shane Jensen, David Weaver round out the top 10. And then it was Dustin Burns, Todd Miles, Daryl Scott, Earl Weaver, John Kenyon, Heath Smith, Scott Kukas, Wayne Hutchison back there in 18th. And 19th would be William Fletcher. And then rounding out the 20-car field, who was back there in 20th, Liam?
Alan Bergen.
Alan
The
Bergen.
guy who told us he was going to finish the race.
He said he was going to finish the race, but exciting race here tonight. Again, saw some different strategy play out. We saw Widener, Smith, and Milfett worked really well together, put themselves in a position to win this race, but unfortunately, just did not work out for them.
Yeah, they did a phenomenal job. Brian Barnes did a phenomenal job, and Chris, you did a phenomenal job with the camera angles here tonight. And we can't thank you guys enough for tuning in. You guys all did an awesome job hanging out. And once again, just that reminder as you guys walk through the streets of life, please don't play in traffic. Have a good night, folks.